Welcome to the Customer Wins podcast, where business leaders discuss their secrets and techniques for helping their customers succeed and in turn grow their business.
Hi, I'm Rich Walker, the host of the Customer Wins, where I talk to business leaders about how they help their customers win and how their focus on customer experience leads to growth. Some of my past guests have included Charlie Clark of FP Alpha, Mike Jalonen of Habit Driven, and Austin Netzley of 2X. Today, I'm excited to speak with Sam Wakefield, the founder of Close It Now. And today's episode is brought to you by Quick, the leader in enterprise forms processing. When your business relies upon processing forms, don't waste your team's time manually reviewing the forms. Instead, get Quick. Using our Form Extract API, simply submit your completed forms and get back clean, context-rich data that is 99.9% accurate. Visit quickforms.com to get started. Now, before I introduce today's guest, I have to give a huge thank you to David Gonzalez for introducing me to Sam. David is the founder of Internet Marketing Party, who hosts monthly events in Austin, Texas, to bring together brilliant marketers and entrepreneurs. You should definitely attend the next Internet Marketing Party if you're in Austin. Visit internetmarketingparty.com to get your ticket. All right, I'm really excited to talk to today's guest because he brings a completely different perspective to this podcast that I believe you're going to want to hear. Sam Wakefield is a luminary in the HVAC industry, renowned for his innovative approach to sales training and personal development. With over 2 decades of experience, he's evolved from hands-on technical roles to a strategic sales leader, deeply understanding the industry's nuances. As the founder of Close It Now, Sam has distinguished himself by pioneering a unique blend of sales strategies and personal growth techniques, reshaping traditional sales training methodologies. Sam also hosts a popular podcast called Close It Now, with a core focus on personal development and effective sales methodologies. Sam, welcome to the Customer Wins.
Thanks, man. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. So for those of you who've not heard this podcast before, I love to talk to business leaders about what they're doing to help their customers win, how they built and deliver a great customer experience, and the challenges to growing their own company. Sam, let's understand your business a little better. How
Sure.
does your company help people?
That is a great question. So I've definitely over the years have evolved. Now I'm in very much a role of helping companies help the customer, right? So my customer directly is the owner of a trades company, and people that are just in sales around the world. The podcast is listened to in 30 countries. But just help people to connect with, basically sell more, earn more, and serve at a higher level, and really serve with their heart. My hope, I guess, a tagline to sum this up would be, I'm just kind of helping to bring trust back to the trades.
So the trades, I mean, look, I'm in software, so I don't get physical that often.
Right.
The trades you're talking about, air conditioning, heating, is it plumbing, electrical?
Exactly. Yep.
All those things, windows.
Yeah, heating and air, plumbing, electrical, solar. It could be windows. I even have people listen to the podcast that do, irrigation or fencing or closets, or basically any way that helps a homeowner in home improvement. That is my key demographic.
Okay. I think there's a lot of correlation to my audience who I think are generally focused on wealth management. So they're financial advisors, they sell life insurance, they are fee-only planners, et cetera. And I think the corollary is they're talking to people, just like your customers are talking to people. They own homes, they have businesses, et cetera. They have real life challenges and they're trying to solve problems, right?
Right. Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge that your customer faces in trying to meet their needs, provide a great experience, et cetera?
This is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and it relates to your normal listenership really dramatically, pretty accurately. Is the biggest challenge is we always come across too technical, and I see this in everybody that I talk to, everyone I train is, when we're working with, if it's somebody that's talking to a financial advisor, or if it's somebody that's talking to somebody about a new air conditioner. The struggle is we know so much about the topic that we have a hard time communicating in a way, one, that they understand, and more importantly, and this is the biggest thing, is we've got to help that person see what their life is going to be like once they have our service. If we can't do that, then we're missing the whole point, and we get a lot of, I want to think about it.
That makes sense. I took a training once where the guy said in sales, you should think of what's called the consultative close. And
Mhm.
the idea is think about yourself on an island of present day and an island of the future perfect or the perfect future, however you want to say it.
Mhm.
And you need a boat to get across. And so trying to get your customer to see that future island of where they could be so that they can see the value, right?
Right.
But with trades, I mean, look, in financial services, we're talking money. It's a
Mhm.
big deal to earn somebody's trust. But I think equally so, inviting a stranger into your house
Mhm.
is kind of a scary proposition in some ways.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, because we're going from the perspective of the people doing the sales there. It's nerve-wracking because we're going from blind date to basically marriage proposal in 45 minutes for, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 in some cases, depending on the size of the home. And how do we, build the trust? How do we establish the rapport? Show our competence and all of those things in such a short amount of time. It's no different in a conversation with, you know, co- consulting with someone for their finances, and it's large ticket items there too. So
Yeah, oh, for sure.
it's very similar.
Yeah, I mean, getting somebody to agree to put $100,000 into an annuity or a mutual fund or whatever,
Mhm.
there's a lot of correlation here. So, um, helping people see that value is I think it's a challenging thing. So are there techniques that you actually use and teach that help people see that better or deliver a message that comes across better?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's there's a formula that I've actually developed in my process, which is applies to everyone because it's rooted in psychology, it's rooted in NLP techniques, it's rooted in a lot of basically verbal agreements and and that type of thing. The thing we have to understand is we're helping our clients learn how to buy from us. So that's one mindset thing. Is so when we can understand that, it's like, okay, so we have to get better at giving directions and giving steps for our clients.
Mhm.
And this is whatever we do. But some of the ninja tricks are, first is they need to know who you are and they need to know more about the company. And so the introduction is crucial. So because most people will get into questions and why are you here? What do you want to accomplish? And then way down the line, they'll, okay, well, now let's talk about the company and myself. Well, that's too late, you
Yeah.
know? And
The guys I bought solar from for my house, I think the 2 times I bought, I think the number one reason I bought from them is because I liked their company. I liked what they represented. I liked the fact that they had tested every product themselves. They
Mhm.
were highly passionate and invested in the product. And it wasn't just a sale to them. It was a delivery of value and solution.
Mhm.
Let's take a tack on this because there's a lot of new advisors joining the ranks in wealth management. They're sole
Mhm.
proprietors. Just like I imagine, there's a lot of people who are like, I'm going to hang my shingle. I'm going to become a brand new plumber or something. How
Mhm.
does a new person talk about their company when they don't have a lot of history yet?
Oh, that's one of my favorite questions. When we're crafting introductions for people that don't have experience in that specific industry, it doesn't matter because the one thing to understand is your customer, your client, they don't expect you to know everything, but they just expect you to be able to get the answer in a short amount of time. So when we understand that and don't beat yourself up for not just knowing everything instantly, so it's okay, we give you grace for that. But the other part of that is, when we're working with that we're getting into the introduction, use whatever experience you do have. So,
Mhm.
for example, when I take people through, say they're brand new in the trades. So, well, what did you do before? Were you in customer service? Were you in car sales? What did you do? Use that and pull out the core values from there and say, okay, maybe I'm brand new in wealth management, but I have this many years in customer service. I have this many years in project management, figuring out complex problems. So, with that experience, that's why I'm best suited to help you now with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And here's the support team behind me. So if I don't know the answer instantly, we've got a whole team together that we can help you out. And so that's how I would advise to craft that. Use the experience.
So I think what's interesting about that is you did not say, go get 20 certifications or any kind of
No.
certification, right? In financial planning, we have the certified financial planner. It takes like 3 years to get. It's
Mhm.
super difficult. It's quite the accomplishment. And there's other types of certifications, but that's not really what's selling it, is it?
No, not at all. It's the and over time you're going to get the certifications. That's great. But don't wait to get started because you don't have those. That's okay. Lean on the people in your team that do have them. But yeah, the thing that well, and really this is what it all comes down to. The way people buy has changed so dramatically in the last 3 to 5 years, especially after the pandemic. It's feeling, it's emotion, the emotional drivers, and people are buying with their feelings. Because if a purchase of anything is driving a car, logic is the steering wheel. All of the numbers make sense. Yeah, it's in the head. Okay, great. I like the company. I like you. This is awesome. Well, that's pointing the wheels in the right direction. It logically makes sense, but that stayed in the head. And it can all make sense, but then we're still going to get, okay, sounds good, Rich. I need to think about it. But emotion is the gas pedal, which will cause people to take action and to take action immediately. So we've got to get the emotion in. We've got to drop people into their heart and the feeling part of a decision. If we can get the emotional piece tied to it, yeah, it makes logical sense. We get the emotional piece. Now we're going to take action and we're going to put the foot on the gas and take action now.
Okay, so I think there's two really interesting things about that. Um, I mean, 20, 30 years ago, you always heard people say people buy from who they like, and it's
Hmm.
not necessarily what they're selling, which is an emotional thing, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
But the other thing I think about is emotion isn't just showing emotion, it's showing passion, excitement, expertise. So, for
Hmm.
example, we had our carpets cleaned, and the guy that we hired, my gosh, this guy knew everything about cleaning carpet and told us things to think about that we had not even thought about, like how he brushes the carpet to leave it standing, softer after he
Hmm.
leaves. And really what happened was he showed his emotion through his passion for his craft and
Hmm.
his excitement for helping people have a better solution. And he said, in fact, you won't need to hire me as often because I'm going to do such a high quality service, which then showed value at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
is this what you mean? Like in terms of emotion, am I hitting it on the head or are there other things to show your emotion?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. So there's two sides to the emotion. One side is exactly that. Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, the trainers from forever ago. They always say sales is the transfer of enthusiasm, right?
I love that.
And that's exactly that. When someone can see that you are passionate about what you do, because there's what the one that the mindset with this is sales, be it financial planning and wealth management or whatever else is sales. Sales is not the performance of an hour, it's the overflow of a life. If
Mm,
all of the other elements of your life are together, then you might not have to know the most about that topic, but you're someone people want to do business with.
mhm.
In my podcast, I say it very often: work to become someone worth buying from. And
Mhm.
as you do that, the level of people that buy from you will rise. So this applies. That's why personal growth and nutrition and fitness and all these things are just as important as maybe learning a one-liner sales skill. And so it all carries over. And then the other side of the emotion, and here's a super quick example, is say I'm a financial advisor and you came to me and we're working together, and the little emotional bow at the end of the conversation could potentially sound something like, "And Rich, isn't it going to feel awesome knowing that you're not going to have to worry about this any longer, and your kids are going to be taken care of?"
Yeah, I'm done. Let's go. You're
Right.
right. You're
So
right.
it's like all the logic makes all the sense, but put the little emotional bow on the end of it, and it
Yeah.
changes everything in the conversation.
Yeah, and I like that. Like with my advisor, she talks about how she does things for her own kids, how she invests for her kids, how she set up security for her kids, which is her own example for us to follow.
Hmm.
So when we were talking about having kids, and now we have three, what we're going to do, I think that relatability is a really important aspect. So I want to ask you another question about this. Do you do you have it kind of codified? Do you have a methodology for how to build trust?
Yes, there's a short with what we do. There's a shortcut for this, and it's so simple. Most people don't even believe me when I first start talking about it. It's called the permission stack. Everything is permission based. So, Rich, would you like to hear what the permission stack is?
I would, yes.
Okay, great. Well, step one is asking permission, right? It's one of the interesting things because in any conversation, say someone came and they're asking you about, hey, what vehicles do you have that I can place this money? If you just go straight into telling them what they just asked, walls go up, eyes glaze over, they check out because just the way we're wired and programmed in our brain.
Hmm.
But one quick little adjustment and it changes everything. So let's role play this and
Okay.
just to give some practical stuff here. So you're asking me about what vehicles. Say you come across a load of cash and you want to invest it. Ask
Okay.
me about what vehicles, and we'll role play both different ways.
All right. So Sam, I just got a massive inheritance. What should I be doing with it to make sure it's safe and secure and growing?
Oh my gosh, Rich. Well, we've got annuities and we've got some stocks and we've got, of course, I don't know financial stuff, but I just kind of went right into it. So when you go
Right.
right into directly answering the question, what happens is that's really pushback type of response. Now,
Hmm.
ask me again, and then I'm going to ask you how different it felt.
Okay. Sam, I just got a massive inheritance. What should I do with my money to ensure my safety, security, and can grow it over time?
Oh, Rich, tell you what, we have some really incredible options. Would you like to hear what they are?
Yeah. Yeah. What are they?
Oh, perfect. So we've got, of course, stocks. We've got annuities. We've got. Just feel what happened. What was? How did you feel the difference in that response?
So, number one, you asking me the question made me feel like you were engaged in my interest. That was the
Hmm.
first thing that I felt. And then second, I don't know how to describe this. It's like you took over the conversation in a way.
Yeah, yeah. So it took over the conversation, but also the coolest thing that happens is that level of engagement. You leaned. I noticed your posture. You leaned in a little bit. And that's
Mm,
what happens. The second we ask the permission question, we have some great options. Would you like to hear what they are? You leaned in instead of leaning back. It's subconscious, it happens. And now you're engaged in the conversation. You're actually paying attention to what's going on. So, step two then is to give the data. We ask permission, then give data, whatever the data is. If it's talking about this or if it's talking about air conditioners or whatever, then step three is checking in. Does
yeah.
that make does that make sense?
Yeah. Right.
You follow
So
me.
I,
Any
I I'm
questions,
really
right?
I'm really curious how many financial advisors listening to this resonate with this or reject it.
Hmm.
And I hope we
I'm
get
curious
comments
too.
about this. Because part of being a financial advisor, which I was, is to ask a ton of questions. It's to really seek to understand
Yeah.
and put yourself on the side of the table with your client so you
Hmm.
can understand their needs and their drivers, et cetera. But you're also dealing with a clientele who has minutes to try to win customer
Right.
rapport. And I mean, do you help people who sell door to door? Is that part of what you do?
It is absolutely. Yeah. We have in fact, I'm the face of door to door for HVAC in the industry right now. So
Wow.
we're all over the country doing exactly that. And you've got 7 seconds. That's it. You
Yeah,
know,
I know.
to get engagement and interest in what you're talking about. So here's a super quick ninja trick, everybody. This is one of my biggest pet peeves is the word interested. Never ask anyone if they're interested about anything. Replace that with the word open. No one could be interested in anything they don't know anything about. So
Yeah.
stop asking your clients, are you interested in this? They're never going to be. Replace that with the word open. So it's like, hey, if I could show you this that got this result, would you be open to more information?
Hmm.
Because no one wants to be perceived as closed minded, that everyone always wants to be perceived as open minded. So that'll change everything in a conversation, like right off the bat. So that's
Yeah.
instant rapport real fast.
Nice, man. Well, I want to keep asking a lot of questions about this. So one other technical type of question. I've noticed that if somebody's having something done at their house across the street, down the street, whatever,
Mhm.
I'm suddenly getting sold or marketed to by the vendor who's there.
Sure.
it seems like that's a really powerful way to win new customers. Like, hey, I'm helping your neighbor across the street get solar. Are
Mhm.
you open to solar? But I want you to talk about this from a network effect, because I think, financial advisors, they also look at, if I'm working with you, who can you refer me to in your network?
Right.
Or I'm part of a specific network. I only sell to dentists, for example.
Mhm.
So what is your perspective on building the network and having a network effect help you with your sale?
Oh, it's extremely powerful. With that, you're leaning into something called social proof that is insanely powerful. And so when you're approaching, well, first of all, you actually asked two different questions in your question. The first one is about how to ask for referrals better.
Hmm.
And, you know, traditionally people ask for referrals like, everybody that you send my way, I'll give you $50 or, whatever it is. And that is we're programmed to have a resistance to making money off of our friends and family. So a
Hmm.
much better way to ask for referrals sounds something like, "Hey, Rich, now that we've worked together, you saw how simple and easy the process was. Who do you know that I can help? Who do you know that I can help?" And that's a very, very powerful line, because now it has nothing to do with financial gain for you if you send somebody my way or any of that. Who do you know that I can help so they don't get taken advantage of by the guys out there that don't know as much or maybe don't work as well? And so
Nice.
now they care about sending those referrals. And a great way to do it too is um, it's like, well, perfect. So how about I buy lunch and just invite a couple of them to lunch? Let's have lunch together. Introduce me. Or let's call them up right now. Introduce me. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like these little things that nobody thinks about. The other side of that is the power of the network is crucial. So when we're talking to, say, you're somebody new that we haven't done business with, say, then we can still use social proof. Be like, oh my gosh, so many people. Specifically, I work with people in your industry, or say you're a dentist.
Hmm.
Specifically, I work with dentists all over town, right here in this area. Do you happen to know so and so, so and so, so and so? We've done some great work together. I'd love to be able to add you into the, high five. Love to be able to add you into that family. Would you be open to some information? Worked out well for them. Would you be open to having a conversation and see what we can do together?
Nice. Nice. This is awesome. You are full of techniques. No wonder people call upon you. Okay, but let's talk about another area that you talk a lot about, and that's also
Mhm.
very near and dear to me, which is personal development.
Mm.
Um, what do you think is like the top thing people are trying to overcome? A fear, a limiting belief, or some kind of learning that they have that you're constantly addressing?
Ooh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. It's probably the limiting belief of growing to a new level of person, in really analyzing yourself, and that rise, because the only difference between, I mean, there's lots of actual differences, but the main difference between the average and the top performers, it's not that they, do anything different. It's their sales pitch is not any different. It's who they believe they are. It's
Hmm.
like, I know when I walk into any situation, I am a top performer because I've conditioned myself, and I've developed my belief system for that for so many years that you drop me in a brand new industry, I guarantee you within a year to two, I will be number one on the leaderboard. That's just what
Nice.
I do.
Yeah.
Right. But, and not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that the belief system is everything. So when I'm working with people, and especially all you new financial advisors out, the difference between where you're at and the top performers is really just believe it.
And
Believe
how
it,
do
and
you
then those success leaves clues. Follow the habits of the top performers and adopt those habits as your own habit. And now it's your habit.
and how do you just believe it? Is,
Well, that's
is it a
it. That's a
mantra?
great question. Actually, no, it actually is the habits, right? Our life is a combination of the habits we put together daily. I mean, time is an illusion. Anything that happened this morning or in the past is memory, and anything in the future is like imagination. So all we
Mhm.
have is right now, and what habit are we developing? So it's being real with yourself. Rate yourself on the scale of 1 to 10 of whatever area, and then find somebody that's a level 10 in your mind and say, okay, what is one habit that they do that I'm not currently doing that I can incorporate in my life today, and be very intentional about that. And once that habit long enough becomes your own habit, now maybe went from, like, I rated myself at a level 4. Well, maybe with that habit, now I'm a level 5. Okay, what's the next habit, a top performer, that I can adopt? And then, so the more that we start to do this and build this muscle, then it creates this momentum in our lives where we start to rise to that level. And we start to believe it because we start to see the results. We start to incorporate those habits, and now we're becoming that better person.
I love that. And what you're not saying is go do it all. Drink the same smoothie and do the same workout and get up at the same hour. And you're saying pick one thing.
Yeah,
Pick
that's a
one thing
recipe
they
for
do.
disaster. If you do it
Yeah,
all at once, you'll last a week.
exactly. Exactly. Change is hard. I don't know if you know, I wrote a book on change. It's a 4-step methodology for how to change. And it's called It's My Life. I Can Change If I Want to.
Ooh, I
And
love
it,
it.
and it's totally about beliefs. It's about instilling the right beliefs inside of you to change your behaviors. So I completely agree. And change is hard. So doing one thing well is
Mhm,
crucial to creating the kind of change that you want to have in your life. Don't try to change 10 things, change one thing.
mhm,
I remember when I met my wife before we're married and we decided to change our diet, we chose one item, breakfast, and one breakfast item
mhm.
even, and then added to that and added to that. And then it became lunch, and then it became dinner, and then it became week, and then it became how we ate out. And man, now it's crazy. But our,
Yeah.
our health is, wildly different than 10 years
Mhm,
ago.
mhm. One quick thing that I just finished. So I lead anybody that wants to. I lead a book club for personal growth, and so we meet once a month. And the book we just finished is "The Gap and the Gain,"
Hmm,
and that's exactly that. It's like, so many times the other way to help out with the mindset and with success is just start to measure backwards instead of measuring forwards. If I set a goal to do, for example, 20, 200 cold calls today to new clients, and I only did 180, instead of beating myself up about it, just be like, hey, this is awesome. I did 180.
right.
Tomorrow, we'll get to the next thing. But measure yourself in the success that did happen, not in what you didn't do.
Well, and besides that, if you did 180, but a year ago you only did 70,
Yeah.
look how far you've
Right.
come,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Or 2 days ago, you did 70. Right.
Yeah. I heard a really great quote, and I'm not going to be able to quote it by word, but it was something to the effect of, you have already achieved some of the goals that you said would make you happy,
Mhm.
which is to imply, why
Wow.
aren't you happy? Because you hit the goal, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, I think we're in our society, we're so conditioned that success is a destination, and
Mhm.
it's not. If it's a destination, where's it at? Just tell me where it's at. We'll just go there right now, and then
Yeah.
we're done. But it's not. It's a journey, and so that, keeping, not just keeping, but getting and keeping that in the forefront of our mind helps with this process.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to switch gears here because I have to ask you about artificial intelligence. And I'm going to give another shout out to one of my past guests, Mike Jalonen, with his app called Habit Driven. Because when you talk about building the right habits, it's an app to help you track those habits. And it's not just eating right or working out, it's any kind of habit you want. And it has AI driven inside of it to help remind you and help you move information forward into the next day or the next phase of your habit, journey that you want to be on. So anyway, shout out to him. But back to your I want your perspective. How is artificial intelligence impacting your industry or how people sell when they're
Mhm.
person to person like you do?
Oh, it's everywhere right now. The one thing that I love about it, it's making things so much more efficient. It
Mhm.
is, I would say, it's not replacing jobs, it's changing jobs, right? If we choose to learn and grow with it, and it's everywhere in the industry. So everybody listening, if you haven't yet, you will be getting an AI call from your service company to schedule. Like, here's an example, easy one. Hey, it's time for your, spring maintenance. Let's get your air conditioner checked before it gets hot. They're gonna be using AI to do that instead of a person, right? Those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. It's being used in 1,000 different ways. But what I love so much about AI is the efficiency. What I also love about doing it with financial management and with, home improvement, is it will never replace a personal connection of someone who truly cares to help.
Mhm.
It will never be able to replace that. So that's, we can use it to support it, but boy, it's just never going to come in the replace what we can get in a real conversation with a person.
Yeah.
And so that's the other side of the coin that I see with AI right now.
I think I'll have a very different reaction the day a robot knocks on my door to try to sell me something.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
doesn't sit well with me per se. But you brought up a really, I think, very useful use case, which is um, following up with existing customers
Oh yeah.
to plan next steps with them. Like, hey, we
Mhm.
serviced your air conditioner. Now it's time to change your filters. Now it's
Right.
trying, whatever.
Mhm.
I think that's a really valid use case for it. Have you seen Air AI?
I have. Yeah. In
AIR
fact,
AI?
I have. Let's say there's a person within the HVAC industry that actually has a license for that has built it out for with every bit of his scripting, every bit of his sales training, all of that, and is using it actually on two different levels. One is as an incoming call center for their for his clients, for businesses. Say it's peak season and you have 4 people in your call center. Well, this will answer several hundred phones at a time. So
Wow.
there's no longer do we have to, oh, well, it's busy, we can't get to them. So it's using it as a call center. Also using as outbounding that exact client to schedule things. Also, there's rehash programs for maybe proposals that were sent that didn't close. So there's rehash programs with that. And then the other side of it is it's being used for internal training, which is
Hmm.
really cool. So you've got 30 technicians in the field and one service manager. Well, now they can call in, get load it with all of the technical data. They can call in and get, oh, hey, I need help figuring out this wiring schematic. We don't have to call the service manager anymore. AI is doing it for you.
Yeah.
And so now it's able to, so for management and training, it's dramatically changing the scalability of that across the country right now.
Wow. Wow. So I can imagine that's going to turn into AI generated videos like on the fly.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Well, here you go. We'll generate a video for you. And now you can just watch it instead of trying to find it
Absolutely.
on YouTube. This is
You got it.
incredible. I'm going to tell you a story a friend of mine just told me, and not to mention the company he works for whatsoever, but they rolled out an AI to help with loans. And
Interesting.
they were calling on people who were delinquent and late on paying their loans,
Mhm.
and the AI started hallucinating and doing things it wasn't allowed to do, like, "Oh, don't worry about paying your loan this month. If you can do it next month, that's fine with us." Like, "Wait a minute, you can't give away a free payment."
Right? That's
So it's
hilarious.
we're still in the early stages, but I agree. I think this is gonna be pretty profound of how this is gonna
Mhm.
go. Man, are there tools that you're using personally that you love?
I am actually, yeah. And mine are ones I use are pretty basic. So one has to do with writing. I do a lot of different blog posts and different things. So I'm using, I've built my own GPT within Chat GPT with my voice. I've loaded it with actually my book. And so it gets my voice. And so it writes all my posts and stuff and episode copy. Uh, Also, I'm really getting into now, which you do a lot of, is in using it for video editing. In fact, my actually the coolest thing just happened. My partner, she runs a craft business, and she used was the new Microsoft one, and made her a brand new logo that is like awesome, and it was
Wow.
free. And so
Wow.
brand spanking new logo, video or image creation, and we didn't have to even hire anybody on Fiverr to do it this time. It
Fiverr's
was
in
just more.
trouble, look out.
It's true, that's for sure. And so,
No,
but
that is
yeah, so we use
awesome.
it for all kind of stuff, man. Chopping up video to make reels and stuff on social media. And there's, I,
Yeah.
I think we've barely scratched the surface of what AI will be able to do and how it will be able to help and make things more efficient.
Yeah. No, I agree. Sam, this has been awesome, and I do have another really big question for you, but before I go there, what's the best way for people to find and connect with you?
Yeah, for sure. So my Instagram is the real close it now. You can go, of course, to my website at closeitnow.net. I have, if someone listening, if you know someone in the trades that would like some sales training, I have a Facebook group. It's Close It Now, and or they can email me, Sam at closeitnow.net. and I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome, man. Well, okay. My last question is, who has had the biggest impact on your leadership style and how you approach your role today?
That's a loaded question. I've been such a personal growth person for so long. I could say like Jim Rohn would definitely be
I love him.
mentor from a distance, but in person, probably a gentleman named Jimmy Jays. He is currently my business coach as well. I've known him for several years, and I've just gotten so much from his leadership ability and ability to connect to people and coach that a lot of the things I do actually model from his coaching with me, because success leaves clues. So when you find things that work, you adopt them and make it yours.
I love that. Success leaves clues. Awesome. Sam, thank you so much. I want to give a huge thank you to Sam Wakefield, CEO of Close It Now, for being on this episode of The Customer Wins. Go check out Sam's website at closeitnow.net. And don't forget to check out Quick at quickforms.com, where we make processing forms easy. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. We'll click the like button, share this with someone, and subscribe to our channels for future episodes of The Customer's Win. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sam.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Everybody go win your day.
Thanks for listening to the Customer Wins podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.